patriots. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like to me, whether you want to call it payback, retribution, accountability, karma, whatever you want to call it, the Democrats are going through theirs right now because it seems like it's coming around the corner and it's coming around the corner and it's coming around the corner and it's knocking them and it's knocking them and it's knocking them. Because now we just had another bombshell come off. Check this out. A bombshell federal fraud case exploded inside Governor Newsom's powerful political orbit. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down what's going on with Gavin Newsom. You're going to hear from Gavin Newsom, and you're also going to see the clip of just how this mafia-style administration has been being ran right there up under Gavin Newsom's nose. And we expected to believe he had no idea. And wait till you hear about how Biden was working to betray Gavin Newsom. It's off the chain. The Democrats are being exposed systematically, fundamentally, and whatever other illy you want to add on to the list. But let's get into this right here. So this article says, the title, a bombshell federal fraud case exploded inside Governor Newsom's powerful political orbit. I'm just going to read a little bit of this, then I'm going to roll into everything else. As Governor Gavin Newsom flew around the country last year campaigning for President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, his chief of staff, Dana Williamson, known as one of California's toughest political insiders, was not only helping to helm the ship in Sacramento, but under criminal investigation by federal law enforcement. So this is not Trump. They don't let Gavin Newsom come out and blame Trump. The Biden administration and Christopher Wray, who was the head of the FBI, got this going. The resulting criminal case, which splashed into public view with Williamson's arrest Wednesday, does not implicate Newsom in any wrongdoing. Williamson's alleged misdeeds occurred in private work prior to her joining his staff. Right. And his office said it placed her on leave in November of 2024 after she informed him she was under investigation. Funny, Gavin Newsom didn't make that known to the public, though. Nonetheless, the bombshell allegation struck at the center of the political power circle surrounding Newsom, rattling one of the nation's most prominent and important hubs of Democratic state power at a time when President Trump and his Republican administration wield power in Washington. So let's get off into what's going on. First off, listen to Gavin Newsom now. Part of what she got caught up in, you're going to see the charges, but listen to how Gavin Newsom pretty much says that, there's some shady things going on in California because he's extremely offended by what the Trump administration did at the most recent election in California and will do at the next one in the midterms. Check this out.
And, I was just on the line because the DOJ is being sent out to California to monitor our election. I have an election in November, Prop 50, a statewide election. They have no business, no jurisdiction to monitor it. And,
wait till you hear about what's going on with their elections. You're going to see a video clip. But let's look at this right here. California political consultant and former public official charged with conspiracy to commit fraud and obstruct justice, false statements, and tax crimes. And here we go right here. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but political consultant Dana Williams, 53, of Carmichael, was charged by a federal grand jury with conspiracy to commit bank fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and obstruct justice, subscribing to false tax returns, and making false statements. So 23-count indictment was unsealed following Williamson's arrest this morning. So this woman, Gavin Newsom's chief of staff, has been indicted on bank fraud, wire fraud, tax fraud, perjury, or should I say making false statements, perjury, whatever you want to call it. Now, what's going on out there in California? Here's the actual indictment. California political consultant and former public official charged with conspiracy to commit fraud, obstruct justice. That was that same thing we just looked at. Today's charges are a result of 3 years of relentless investigative work in partnership with IRS criminal investigation and U.S. Attorney's Office. 3 years. I wanted you to hear that part because, again, that's Biden administration. Now, listen to what's going on with the elections from this sheriff in California. This will blow your mind.
The way the voting system is structured, we see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even if and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying. And then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
That is ridiculous. So that is how the voting registration is being done in California. This is a sheriff, California sheriff in San Joaquin County. You can literally go online, just check a box saying whatever name and information you put in is real and that you're not lying. Now you're on the voter rolls. That is crazy. But we don't stop there. Check out as CNN finally doing some reporting is going to talk about Gavin Newsom's chief of staff and what this may mean for Newsom. Check this out.
What would she like to work with?
Well, Dana has a reputation for being reckless, for being irresponsible, and for being a bully. She was somebody who loved power and loved to abuse power. Often, if you look at some of the indictment, she's talking about getting people fired, laughing and calling people's names. This is very much how she was. And, on a personal level, years ago, I was up for a job. I was offered a job, and Dana called my prospective employer and told them that if they hired me, they would be dead to the governor's office. I got that job anyway, but this was how she operated, like a mafia boss. And now she's being treated like a mafia boss.
What does it say about Governor Newsom that he put the person you're describing in charge of his office, running the state?
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. You hitting that like button helps a great deal. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues with the notifications, but by selecting all, YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos.
Well, I would say that Governor Newsom, as well as Governor Brown, for whom I worked, and Javier Becerra should be ashamed of their terrible lapse of judgment here. The only reason Dana Williamson acted the way she did for so many years, and what led to this situation, was that she felt she could act with impunity. And she felt she could act with impunity because of the power she was given, despite the very obvious problems with her behavior that were apparent for years. And so I think there's going to have to be a lot of soul searching in Sacramento. This isn't just any Democratic operative. Dana Williamson had so much power in the California Democratic Party that there's a statue of her daughter on top of California Democratic Party headquarters in Sacramento. So I think there's going to have to be a lot of soul searching about exactly what went wrong and how to root out this culture of corruption that always seems to form in Sacramento, and to be frank, in city halls and in state capitals across the country. The FBI is always there. The FBI is always bringing people down. So this is not exactly a shock that you would get caught if you tried to do something as ridiculous as this Soprano-like scheme they had going on.
And we're supposed to believe that Gavin Newsom knew nothing about this woman who worked directly for him, and was doing all of this mafia boss type stuff. I wonder if he brought somebody like that in because that was the only way he felt like he could compete with Trump. I could totally see Gavin's he's not a real person. He's manufactured. So I could totally see them saying, Gavin, we got to get somebody in here that can help you be tough. And they didn't want to make it a male, so they went and got one of the most ball-busting women they could find and brought her in. No, that's with all due respect, and turned her loose. But with the things she probably knows, she operated from impunity because what she knows. I'm sure people are shaking in their boots at the fact that this woman got arrested. And as of right now, her mouth is shut. But if she is the way that they say she is, Newsom is nervous. But let's listen to what Fox had to say. I mean, what Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, had to say.
Review by whom and why, and also in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law.
See, it's not a secret. So it's happening. And that's why when people keep saying, one thing I can't stand, I had somebody in the comments of one of my other videos say, oh, well, people are still walking around and nobody's been arrested. When people talk like that, that really irks me because it's been 10 months of President Trump has been in office. He stopped 8 wars, secured the border. Our economy is roaring. There's like 5 indictments of major political figures. The FBI has made hundreds of thousands of pounds and kilos of bust. Millions of illegal immigrants have been deported. And you'll have some person say, oh, they still haven't done nothing to this person, as if everybody just was supposed to be swooped up at one time with no evidence, especially when you know the opposition is working hard to destroy or hide the evidence. And after looking at all of the damage that the Democrats did during that last administration, right now is open enrollment for insurance. And if you're a senior and you're searching for the best Medicare plan available, I highly encourage you to reach out to the partners and sponsor of this video, Chapter. Chapter is excellent at helping seniors get an unbiased perspective to make sure they've got the best Medicare plans available, because it would suck to look up next year and to find out that your prescriptions are no longer available to you and your doctors are no longer in network. And a phone call that lasts less than 20 minutes and it's absolutely free. One of the Chapter agents can help you make sure you got what you need. If what you have is best, great. But if there's something better, that may be great for you too. As a matter of fact, seniors are saving as much as $1,100. That means they're putting that $1,100 back in their pocket, and that could be you. So don't waste any time. Contact Chapter, call the number on the screen or visit the website and let one of the Chapter agents help you like they've helped thousands of other seniors. So it's happening now. But check this out. I thought this was interesting. Totally unrelated, but still related. Gavin Newsom's new $9.1 million mansion, as he relocates his family from California's capital to one of the wealthiest areas in the U.S., but he let LA burn and other places burn, and other people still haven't even started the repairs on their homes. But this is what Democrat voters like. That's what people want. So I just wanted to bring you what's going on now. We got Gavin Newsom's chief of staff, now former chief of staff, indicted on 23 counts, bank fraud, wire fraud, and you heard she's a bully and ran that office like a mafia boss. But poor Gavin, he was just, didn't know. But guess what this says about his leadership? This just did more damage to his presidential campaign than they. I know the Democrats know it, because it shows he's a poor leader. Look at California. He's a poor manager. Look at the people he hires. He's a poor at balancing a budget. Look at the debt of California. He's horrible at maintaining citizenship. He'd have people fleeing America like left and right, like people are fleeing California. So I just wanted to bring this. If you've watched it up to this point, I wanted to say a thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. Leave a comment. Tell me, what do you think about Gavin Newsom and his chief of staff being indicted and arrested on 23 counts? If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.